These are the Commander cards most worth buying for January 2023.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Beezy, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds, bringing you new videos every day, including this year. For the entire year, you can expect 364 more of these. If you want to support us, the best way to do it is probably patreon.com, because then you can give us direct money, and we can use it directly to improve all the stuff you see and make more videos and make it all great. But then we love you as much as we can without making you uncomfortable, so that's a bonus.
I'm going to say that you were wrong, and there's going to be 363 more this year. I don't plan on doubling up, do you? Because it's the second.
It's the first. Totally.
Yeah.
First video of the year.
First full-length video
Except
of the
for
year.
yesterday.
For sure. Definitely the first full-length video of this year. TCGplayer.com is another way to support us indirectly. Go there, buy every single card that we're going to suggest today, and guess what? You're supporting the nerds because you started with our affiliate link in the description below.
And we're sponsored by Moxfield, and there's going to be a video in the middle of the ad in the middle of the video, and you're not going to be able to guess what it is. And happy birthday to everyone's birthday is today.
All right, so let's hop in this. This is the cards most worth buying for January 2023. These are cards that are worth buying if you have a deck for them, obviously. None of these cards are worth buying to speculate on. That's not what we're here for. We're not speculatory. We're not saying these cards are going to go up in price. Most of them will if they're not reprinted, but that's not the point. The point is, get them for your decks now because the price is good.
They're 100% worth their price right now.
Yes.
It's a steal if you need the card. The first one is Anguish of Making. It's 1 black, white, and you exile a 9-land permanent, and you lose 3 life, and it's an instant, which makes it better than Vindicate. We hate Vindicate. It's $5 though.
I was actually shocked to learn that we've never talked about this on Most Worth Buying, and this card is amazing. We've loved this card from like day one. It is instant speed, 3 mana, hit anything. We love that rate. That is perfect. When you can hit any permanent, except for lands, but that's fine. We can get rid of the lands. At instant speed, we're happy for 3 mana.
Yeah, I'm honestly like never playing Other End, and I'm never playing Vindicate, and this is the absolute sweet spot in between.
It is. It really is. It really just fits perfect because you get the instant, you get any permanent. 3 life, that's nothing. We're not worried about that at all. We're also in black, white. The best colors at gaining life, if that happens to matter.
Yeah, Anguish of Making is great. If you have forgot that this card existed, maybe now's a great time to pick it up, because I think $5 is a pretty good price.
Double Masters reprint, baby.
If you're familiar with the channel, you may know that we do enjoy MDFCs, specifically Zendikar Rising land MDFCs. The best one of those being Agadeem's Awakening, $18 X, black, black, black. You bring creatures with mana value X and less back from your graveyard to the battlefield. So if you play it X is 5, you get a 5-drop, a 4-drop, a 3-drop, a 2-drop, a 1-drop, and a 0-drop. And also, it's a land on the other side that can enter untapped. It's just, this is like a literal black staple. It should be in every single black deck that is 1 or 2 colors.
It cannot, like, it's $18, and it could not be more worth it. These cards
could not be more worth it.
Literally, such a free roll to your deck. You gain percentage points just from putting these in, and you don't lose anything because you know what this replaced? This replaced basic Swamp in your deck, which is mind-boggling. Instead of the draw of basic Swamp that one time, no, you drew Agadeem's Awakening and revived 7 creatures from your graveyard and won the game. And that was the land that won you the game.
Right, and if you want to complain that you have a mono black deck and you can't cut swamps, cut a spell for it, and now you have a good spell that will stop you from getting mana screwed.
It's good on both ends, right? It's literally good on both ends. Agadeem's Awakening is so good, and this is true for all the MDFCs, but Agadeem's Awakening is the best one. When are they going to reprint this? Who knows?
Not in a precon.
Go to the moon.
Guaranteed not in a precon. They can't print double-faced cards there.
So weird. Next, another one I was quite shocked has never been on this series. Mangara the Diplomat, currently $12, 4 mana. If somebody double spells of your opponent, you draw a card. And if someone attacks you with 2 creatures, you draw a card.
I love drawing cards. In white?
This card is just good. I honestly, sometimes if you're in like some of the other cards, you might not need this, but this card's just strong. It discourages you from being attacked with a lot of creatures. Sure, it gives your opponent a choice, but you gain a nice advantage whenever they actually do it and commit to it. If they were going to attack you with 2 creatures, they're probably going to attack you with 1. Now you've held back an attack. You've gained value off of that. This thing just does a lot of little things. And we always say it, if your opponents aren't double spelling a commander, they're not winning. So if you're not drawing cards, your opponents aren't doing very well.
Yeah, $12 is not bad at all. And I've made some deals that involve like dealing combat damage to me. Like if I have the initiative or the monarch and they really want it, it's like, great, just attack me with 2 things and I'll take both of them. Or I'll block a 3/3 with Mangara, basically take 0 and get a card.
Yeah, and it's a great deal for you, exactly. Political value is underestimated often on cards like Mangara.
Another white card that basically draws cards is Weathered Wayfarer. It's only $2. This thing's not really going anywhere price-wise. It just got reprinted. But it's amazing because if you're behind on lands, you go and tutor any land. Land tax, sit down. This card is way better.
This card is incredibly strong. Like, as long as you're not on the play, and even if you're on the play, you're in a white deck, you're most likely going to fall behind a land at some point. If you're in green, don't play Weather Wayfarer. You can search up lands better ways. But if you're not in green, you're going to fall behind in lands because that's what green decks do. They get ahead on lands. Weather Wayfarer is going to get you your best land every time. And it won't ramp you, and it will cost you mana to get your lands. But the lands it gets are Nykthos. The lands it gets are Ancient Tomb.
Field of the Dead.
Field of the Dead. They get you cards that get advantage. So when you're searching these up and then playing them for a turn, you will catch back up on mana because of things like Nykthos.
And Sarah's Sanctum, too, is like another one that you could potentially be playing. This card's amazing. It's so fantastic. Even bounce lands just make it so that you're always behind.
It's $2. Like, this card has been up near the 20 mark. It came down to 15. I remember being 10. 2 is the lowest I've ever seen this card. And it's just a fantastic card for your white decks that aren't playing green.
I think it might be a little bit underplayed, even though it is still played. Just like maybe Keeper of the Accord, it's $3. And if you're behind on lands during anybody else's end step, you go ramp. And the same is true for creatures by getting a 1/1.
So what I really like about Keeper of the Accord is that when you're behind, it really, really catches you up.
It actually does catch you up. If you have 4 lands and they each have 10, you will catch up in 2 turns.
Exactly. And that is something that these behind on these white behind cards don't really do usually, is actually catch you up at a good pace. And Keeper of the Accord actually does that. It's so good that I know I literally just had a game where Keeper of the Accord was a brick. It was not good. It was a 3-4 for 4 because I was the most lands and I had the most creatures. I still didn't even think of that. I should cut it from the deck because I know, and I've seen all these situations where I get bailed out by this card. It's okay that sometimes it is a bad creature that doesn't do too much. That said, it's a creature for a white deck, and white has a lot of things that care about creatures.
Oh, yeah. As soon as you have other synergies, if this is drawing you a card or making some tokens, it's okay if it's only Solemn Simulacrum. Oh, no. Like, what a floor. I only get 1 land, or I only get 4 creatures off of it.
Yeah, exactly. Keeper of the Accord is solid. Like, legitimately very solid. Another card that you never touch if you're in green. It doesn't fit there. But when you're out of green, Keeper of the Accord can fit.
All right. How about a black card, though?
Well, this is a very good black card that we've talked about a lot recently on this channel. It's a newer card. Braid's Arisen Nightmare is currently $4. And if you are playing some sort of sacrifice theme or you have things that are useless on the battlefield, you're just going to want this card.
You just want it. It's amazing.
It's really incredible. Like, I never saw this card being as good as it is. Not every deck is playing stuff that they want to sacrifice. So you put them in this ultimatum where it's like they sacrifice something probably useful, which is totally fine by you, or they sacrifice nothing, lose 2 life, and you get card advantage. And as soon as this draws 1 card, you've replaced itself now.
And it's still there.
And it's still there, and it's going to do this again next turn.
Actually, kind of funny that Braids is a wombo combo with Keeper of the Accord and all the behind on lands white cards. You just start sacking lands. There's no universe where they do that, and then you just get them back anyway.
Yeah, black-white deck like Teysa Karlov.
It's like actually brutal.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that because like Teysa Karlov loves Death Triggers, loves Braids. It's black-white. It can have all these cards in it. Literally perfect combo.
Or like even like Lord Windgrace too. You don't even need white. You're just like, all right, I'll just get the land back later.
Oh, that's true. That's very, very strong. Next we have. This one is something unique to this episode.
It's an entire product.
It's an entire product because normally we don't do this. Now, first thing, you have to be watching this video before January 5th. That's super important. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get this. It's a secret layer because I was looking at the Ulamog and I saw it was $40 to buy the Just Add Milk
Secret layer.
Secret layer Ulamog.
By itself.
By itself. I saw that was $40. And I'm like, okay, first thing, that's worth it. To buy just that.
Ulamog's like been a $60 card.
But why would you buy that if this is before January 5th? You can buy the Just Add Milk Secret Layer right now, non-foil, for $30. And you get 3 cards. You get Atali, you get Golta, and you get Ulamog. All of them. This is my favorite Secret Layer of all time. No joke.
They're double-sided meme cards. Full art. Like, it looks amazing.
Yes, and Ulamog says devoid of flavor, which I never realized, but it's like the funniest thing ever.
You saw the puzzles on the back, right?
There's
cereal box puzzles.
Everything about these is so good. And you can just buy it for $30 now. And if you want foils, because double-sided foils tend not to curl.
True.
Very, like, even if you really, really are scared of the curling, double-sided foils are pretty free from that.
We bought 3 of these, 0 curling, because they already came in.
$40 for the foils. So, like, you can get the foil Ulamog and the other ones for $40.
These are like high demand cards. Atali and Galta pretty much bulk rares, but Ulamog carries the whole thing. by itself, it's all just worth it. And you play these cards, you get premium versions that like nobody else is going to have.
Atali is a bulk rare. I believe Golta is more like a $6 or $7 card.
Teetering,
yeah.
Mid.
Yeah, it's a mid card, but it's still really strong. They're all staples of Commander
They're all
as well.
playable.
These are all really good Commander cards. Like, Atali goes in a ton of decks. Golta goes in any like super powered deck.
Ulamog's one of the best things to ramp into.
If you're ramping in a fair meta where you don't want to be annihilating, this Ulamog is the best one because it's like, all right, I play a fair card, I get removal, and then I get a thing that's a nice clock too.
Just add milk. Just go buy it.
How often do we tell you to buy Secret Layers? This is literally
the first time.
Like we will tell you if it's like good value, but like this is an amazing Secret Layer.
This is one of the best values I've ever seen. Let's go to the next card. It's a real card. It's Mayhem Devil. It's $4 because this is one of the most premium uncommons for Commander I think that exists right now. $4 for an uncommon that's been printed recently. You sack the thing, deal 1 damage to anything. But if anyone else stacks a thing, you still do 1 damage to anything.
Yes, literally. Anytime something gets sacrificed in the battlefield, you get to ping something for 1 damage. Your opponents will be doing this by accident all the time. So you'll just be getting a ton of pings all over the battlefield. This will keep any small threat with a butt of 3 or less off the battlefield. It powers up whatever you're doing because the decks you're putting this in, your Corvold decks, all the red-black sacrifice, the juries, there's a million of them. Every one of those decks loves this card. This is literally the card you have to answer. Every time I see it on the battlefield, I'm like, okay, that's the threat. It doesn't like
one.
That has to be the threat because if their deck is built with that card in mind, it's ridiculous.
You know what card's really good with? It's good with Braids.
Oh, jeez, yeah. Next is Benevolent Hydra, brand new card from Jumpstart, currently $10 and absolutely worth it because this, like we've talked about how Pier is a good Magic card by himself. This is better Pier when you're not playing blue and there's no Toothy to get because you, at its base, can pay 1 green, get a 2/2 with 1+1/+1 counter, or get a 1/1 with 1+1/+1 counter, and then any other creature entering the battlefield now gets the Hardened Scales effect, where you, if a counter goes onto it, boom, 2 counters now. This card is so good, and it can take its counters off and put them on other creatures,
which doubles it.
This is so good. This is like your counters decks already want to have a high creature count. So when like Hardened Scales is like, oh no, I have to play 1 less creature, but I'm still playing Hardened Scales because it's amazing. What if we had a Hardened Scales creature that had counter synergies now? Whoa, this card is real good.
Yeah, obviously Pier is for the Planeswalker decks. This is for counters decks. It's amazing. Quite often, counters go on in increments of 1. So you're basically doubling for most scenarios.
Yeah, we're obviously talking about +1/+1 counters decks here. I play Pier in a +1/+1 counters deck. I don't know if I'm going to put both in or if I'm going to cut Pier for this, but if I had to play one or the other, I'm playing this. This card is so good, unless I have Toothy. Then Toothy is a good reason to like. If you get when your card comes with another card, it's really good. But this card is just good by itself.
What else is good by itself?
Moxfield.com. Honestly, the best deck building website ever made. And honestly, I found a lot of these cards, such as Benevolent Hydra, because I was searching other people's decks on Moxfield. You can go into the thing, look at decks. You can pick Commander. You can pick most recently updated, most recently put on Moxfield, and just search through decks. I love looking at people's decks and just seeing what they have in them. It helps me really think and brew because honestly, I can look at my decks all day on Moxfield, right? And I can see my ideas, but I've looked at these decks 10, 20, 30, 40 times. I'm not going to come up with new ideas. Seeing your guys' decks on Moxfield.com really, really helps get the juices flowing and makes you think.
Okay, New Year's resolution for everyone watching, go on Moxfield.com at least once. Create an account.
Use Moxfield.com to build decks. It is honestly better than any other redacted website.
You're not going to the gym. Quit it. You're going to Moxfield.com.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Come on.
The gym costs money.
Do you want to waste? Yeah, exactly.
Call me in March when you're no longer at the gym, but you're going to still be on Moxfield.
Yeah, do you want to waste money on the gym or do you want to go to Moxfield.com? Let's go to the next one.
It's Sensei's Divining Top. Now, in May of last year, we said this card was worth buying. It was on the most worth buying, and it was $42. Now, it's $20. So, obviously, it's twice as worth buying.
This is one of the most worth buying cards on this entire list. If you're playing higher power Commander, if you like combos, this card is just incredible. It combos with a ham sandwich. There is literally like probably 20 or 30 viable, strong counters that involve Sensei's Divining Top.
Combos?
What did I say?
Counters?
I meant combos.
Combos.
There are that many like good combos that just involve top. It is stupid how good this Magic card is, and it slots into basically any deck.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different decks that want synergies with it, a lot of extra drawing cards, artifacts. It can be all over the place. It's easy to justify an inclusion of Sensei Stop. I don't play it in literally everything, but when I want it, I'm so glad it's $20.
Yeah, you don't need it in literally everything, but my point is that
you don't play it in everything.
You don't have to think about it. It's like, do you want to slot it in? Sure, go for it. Top is that good. All right, next, a card I was shocked we haven't talked about before, but this price is really good for it. It's Omniscience, which is a great win con for a lot of decks, and it's $12. Now, Omniscience is not a throw it in every deck card. Like, I don't think that you just throw this in the top end of any deck. When you have a deck that has a lot of card draw, this becomes an incredible win con for assembling whatever you need, because cast your card draw some cards. Oh, look, I hit more card draw. Keep going until I hit exactly what I want, and Omniscience wins the game.
Honestly, this is a combo card. It just sets it up, and then you just spike it with your whole deck.
That's true. And this card goes along with a card that is not on the most worth buying list because it's a reserve list card and it's really expensive.
Dream Halls?
No, not Dream Halls. I was going to say, actually, the one that searches it up. Academy
Rector.
Yeah. Is it Academy Rector or is it the other one? Or
Rector.
It is Academy. Rector. Academy Rector gets this onto the battlefield. That combo is ridiculous. If you put the thing on turn 4, how do you ever lose?
Yeah, I don't know how you lose. Well, you play Braids on turn 3, and then you played Academy Rector on turn 4, and then you sack the Rector with Braids to get Omniscience.
Yeah, and well, that's the tough part. Now you have to get back to your next turn because you have a...
That's fine. I'll just sacrifice Omniscience because all my opponents are at 2 and they don't have enchantments.
Oh, that was a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Easy game. Wormcoil Engine was recently reprinted in Brothers War as like a schematic card, old border, whatever card. $13 though for now. It's like half the price of an actual Wormcoil. So either this is going up to match that or those are coming down. And either way, I'll pick one up for $13.
It's usually going up. That's usually the trend that comes around. And we did mention this one recently, like in the past 6 months. But we wanted to mention it again because people yelled at us. So like, this is getting reprinted. Why would you ever buy it now? It's like, because it's still worth the money. And now it's super worth the money. It's even more worth it. At $13, you should get these right now. Wormcoil Engine in your combat metas is an all-star. It'll win you games.
Pretty sweet.
The game revolves around this card when it's on the battlefield. That's how good it is in those combat metas.
Right. Don't try to combo with this card.
No, don't try and combo with Wormcoil Engine. Though it does combo with our favorite.
Nim Deathmantle, Ashnod's Altar, and Grave Titan. Throw a Grave Titan in there. Let's go to Season Pyromancer. It's $14 and it's 3 mana 2/2, and you discard 2 and then draw 2. No matter how many you discard, you still draw 2, so you can play it with an empty hand. And then any non-land you discard makes a 1/1, and it still has more abilities. For 5, you can exile from your graveyard to make 2 more 1/1s.
Yeah,
it's just bodies.
This card is really solid for your sacrifice list, just like we talked about with our Mayhem double earlier. This card fits in all of the same list, and this is a modern staple. So the issue is that it's been really expensive in the past. Like,
it was like 30 something.
Yeah, before its new reprint in Double Masters that really drove it down, it was $40, $50, and that's an expensive card. That wasn't worth it. And at 14, this card really is good. It gives you filtering. If you're discarding real cards, you're getting those 1/1s. You're getting the bodies. If you're discarding lands, that's okay too. Now you're filtering into real spells. You don't get the 1/1s, but that's okay as well.
Yeah, it's already a 3 mana 2/2. It does things from the graveyard. I think even Madness decks might want it. You're discarding 2 cards right away and you're drawing 2.
Oh, it's definitely a good Madness
deck. It just seems like an all-around perfect card. There's nothing wrong with it. It's like such a good early game, late game, it's whatever you need.
Yes, and one of the very best things about this card, you mentioned late game, if you end up in top deck mode or you have no cards in hand,
Divination.
This is the best way this card...
It's Mold Drifter.
It becomes Mold Drifter. It becomes a 3 mana, draw 2, but you still get the 2/2 body, so that's a huge upgrade over Mold Drifter.
Yeah, Season Pyromancer, pretty sick card. Start looking at it. Yeah. It's not expensive.
Good flicker target, too, if you have a red flicker deck. Not that that's common, but if you do...
A Jeskai? I don't know. It's not expensive anymore, so...
It's not. Next... The card we have talked about this card before. We love this on this channel. It's Embercleave. It's $8. We've just come to the point where if you're playing combat, this is one of the best finishers, especially if you have a combination of both go wide and go tall.
This card is the rate is silly. I don't actually like the design of this card. It kind of dominated standard for the entire time it was there, but it just leads to commander damage kills from out of nowhere. What do you have to have? You have to have a 10 power and then they're just dead.
Yeah, but actually for Commander, I like it. So
it's just really good. I'm not like complaining about it. It's just like Jeez, it
I would
hits
say-
you like a truck.
This card is a great design if they had put it into a Commander product. I think it would have fit perfectly there. I do agree with you. It wasn't a great standard design. It was really rough.
It's a bit much.
But it's super good for Commander. It's fair. This card isn't unbeatable. It's not broken.
It'll just kill you.
It does kill you. Yeah, it absolutely does a ton of damage. I've been a huge fan of just putting Evercleave in the decks. I think the toughest part is finding the right decks. This is not an every deck card. My favorite spot I've seen it in so far is Muxus.
That's game over.
Muxus is it's that combination that I talked about where you have both the go wide strategy combined with the go tall strategy, and when you combine those two, Embercleave becomes an amazing card.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to actively do both. You just have some big creatures. Maybe your commander's big. Maybe you've got like one of those Dargo or Maelstrom Wanderer things going on where they just have much power, and then you have other creatures in play because why wouldn't you? And you don't need that many. It only costs 6. The creature you want to put it on, it makes it cost 5. That's already fine. A few more creatures, throw them in there, and now it costs 2.
Yeah, completely fair. We also have Bloom Tender. This card has been up in the $40 range. This card is good, but it was never good enough for me to spend $40 on it.
How about, would you spend $9 on it?
I would absolutely spend $9 on it because Bloom Tender is another one of those double Masters reprints that has brought it to the ground, and it's really good. If you're in a 3+ color deck, you want this card.
You actually probably want this in a 2-color deck, but people don't do that. It's like, what? Maybe aside from Devoted Druid, it's the best 2-mana dork.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It is really, really strong. And if you're not talking about comboing, it's better than Devoted Druid.
Yeah, for mana production, it's better.
Yeah, which is super interesting to think about because I always think, at least, maybe not say, but I've always thought that 2-color decks, this isn't very good. But maybe you're right. Maybe because it might still just be the best 2-mana dork that you're going to get.
But then obviously, once you're playing 5 colors and 4 colors and 3 colors, it's just like actively amazing, and we don't have to convince you about that. But what we do have to convince you of is to click on the previous most worth buying for last year, December. Check out what we think is worth buying.
From last year. Peace out, Tribe Scouts.